Today we are going to explain the story of a romantic and suspense movie, A Beautiful Curse. A weird infection puts everyone to sleep for eternity. When will they wake up? Will they wake up at all? No one knows that. To find out what ultimately happened to them, watch the entire video. So without further ado, let's go straight to the main story. The story starts from an island, where a reporter named Samuel was taking pictures. All those whom Samuel was photographing were sleeping. Nobody knew what happened 3 days ago on this island. Everyone there was sleeping. No one had woken up yet. Some slept in swimming pools, some in buses, some in hotels, and some in churches. There was no change in any of them. The only difference was that if a person was moved from his place while sleeping, suddenly his blood pressure rises. That's why everyone was where they were. They were left there. Researchers and doctors all come to this island and checked everyone, but no one knows about their disease. What happened on this island? But the odd thing was that it had no effect on folks who had come to this island from elsewhere. That's why everyone had set up their camp and started living on this island, so that they could find out the reason behind it. In addition, no reporters were permitted to enter this island. But reporter Samuel, whom we saw at the beginning of the story, he arrived quietly and began photographing the bus where everyone was sleeping peacefully. He sees a woman holding a goldfish in her hand in the bus which was moving. That's why Samuel takes the goldfish with him, so that he can talk to the fish and he doesn't feel lonely. The animals and birds on this island were unaffected. After taking pictures, Samuel goes to a house where a girl was sleeping on the bed, whose name was Stella. At first, Samuel keeps his eyes on her very carefully, then he leaves from there. After some time he saw 2 researchers were standing outside Stella's house, and Samuel was watching them secretly. Actually, as we know, no reporter was allowed to come here. If they find out about Samuel, then he will be punished. After they leave, Samuel quietly goes to sleep in the other room. While sleeping he sees a dream. He sees Stella in his dream, in whose house he was sleeping. Stella was buying some things in a mall. When he calls Stella by her name, Stella looks at him in amazement and asks, "How do you know my name?" Then Samuel wakes up, and he sees that it was morning. He was listening to the radio and was talking with sleeping Stella. Then Samuel went outside to take pictures again. He goes to a church, where many people were present. He takes pictures of them and sits there for a while to relax. While sitting there he had falls asleep, and he sees Stella again in his dream. This time they both were sitting face to face. Stella asks Samuel, "Have you come here to earn money?" Samuel says, "No, I just came here to gain some experience, which can help me gain fame in future." Then again his eyes open and he quietly returns to Stella's house. He starts looking at Stella's things, then he gets a diary which Stella used to write every day. Samuel starts reading her diary. As he was reading the diary, he feels that he has known Stella for a long time. Now, every day Stella would come to Samuel dreams and talk to him. Samuel asks her, "What are you feeling in a long sleep?" Stella says, "Sometimes I get a lot of peace, but sometimes it feels like I'm falling very deep." She says, "I slept last of all, when I came home at night. First of all, I saw my piano teacher was sleeping. He suddenly fell asleep in front of the whole class. And after that, this disease took over every person here." Next day, Samuel again goes out. He sees a car standing at a place, in which there were a lot of balloons. When he was taking pictures there, he saw 2 researchers standing in the building ahead. Before they see Samuel, he hides, and he returns home. He realized that he might get into serious trouble if he stayed here. So he packs his things and starts going from here. When he reaches the beach to go back home, he stands there for a long time and thinks whether he should go or not. Actually, his heart didn't want to leave Stella. From some corner of his heart, he started liking Stella. That's why he decides to go back to her. Then whenever he slept, Stella used to come in his dreams to talk to him. One day, Stella asks him in a dream, "Tell me the actual reason, what you're doing here." Samuel says, "A year ago, I had come to spend my holidays on this island. I saw you at a grocery store, and then you went to a hotel. I followed you, but I did not have the courage to say anything to you. I liked you at first sight. After that we never met again. That's why I came back to you, so that I can know you well." Saying this, Samuel wakes up again in the real world, and he goes to the market to buy some things for use. Their two researchers had also came. One of them sees Samuel. That's why Samuel pretends to sleep there, as everyone was sleeping on this island. That researcher doctor checks him, and then they left from there with their essentials. As soon as they leave, Samuel has a lot of fun at that place, and then he leaves the money in front of the cashier and came back to Stella's house. This time he finds some more items from Stella's house, where there was a tape recorder. In that, Stella had recorded about all her favorite and disliked things. Samuel plays the cassette and listens to Stella's words. He finds out that Stella likes very strange things. She likes the sound of a Barbie doll, a boat running in the water, and sound of a typewriter. That's why Samuel brings all these things and keeps them, so that, whenever Stella wakes up, she will be very happy to see all these things. In the meantime, Stella also told that she is very fond of going for a long drive by the sea. After hearing this, Samuel goes into his dream world. In his dream he sees that Stella is ready to go for a drive with him. Stella asks him to take a sleeping man's car. But Samuel says, "We can't steal." Stella says, "We are not stealing. In fact, we are just asking for a car rent for a while." Stella goes to that man's house and brings the car key, and they both went out for a long drive. After a while, Samuel comes out of his dream, and he sees that some doctors have come to Stella's house to see her. Actually, these doctors used to check everyone like this every week. Seeing them, Samuel hid in the closet. The doctors also left from house after checking Stella. After the doctors leave, Samuel comes out of the closet, and he holds Stella's hand and lies down on the floor. The next day, Samuel starts listening to the tape recorder again. Now he gets to know about things that Stella's dislikes. Stella had talked about her loneliness. She said, "Despite the fact that I live alone, but I detest being lonely." After that, Samuel slept again, and again he talks to Stella in his dream. He tells Stella, "I know you don't like to be alone at all. Everyone has a partner in life. Who knows, in the upcoming life we can live together." On this, Stella says, "I don't think so." After hearing Stella's words, Samuel realized that he was probably wasting his time in vain. So again he decides to go back home from here. But this time too he couldn't go, and he came back home and started cooking Stella's favorite dish and eating these. Once again he goes to his dream world. In the dream, Stella tells him to go from here. She says, "That Stella you know because of books and diaries, she is very different in real life." Now Samuel also started thinking, maybe Stella is telling the truth. The girl whom I have never spoken to, how can she love me? But Stella told him this only in a dream. Even Stella herself didn't know what was in her heart. So Samuel decides he will leave from here. When Samuel starts going from here for the third time, he himself did not understand what had happened to him. On the way, he feels very thirsty. His thirst was not stopping. As much water as he was drinking, his thirst was increasing. Along with this he was also getting a lot of sleep. He finds out that, even on him, the weather of the island had started affecting. He somehow reaches Stella's house. He had put Stella's hand on his hand, and he slept. But, the next morning he wakes up. Samuel had understood that very soon he will fall asleep like all the people here. That's why he types and writes a lot of notes, and goes to sleep like the rest. A few days later, we see that Stella's body start to move. She wakes up. But now she had no strength in her body, because she woke up after 3 weeks of sleep. She gets up bravely and somehow reaches the basin to drink water. Then her eyes fall on another toothbrush. She feels maybe someone else is also living in her house. She was very angry about this, because she had found out that Samuel read her diary and also heard her recorded tape. She tries to wake Samuel up by hitting him, but to no avail. Samuel had gone to sleep for a long time like her. In the meantime, she gets notes written by Samuel, in which he had written a story, so that when Stella reads all notes she forgives him that he read her diary and heard the recording. He also wrote that, "Stella, you can get rid of your loneliness when you let people reach you." After reading all this, Stella understood that despite being a stranger, Samuel understood her so well. Now she takes care of him exactly the way Samuel took care of her, as Samuel used to come in Stella's dreams and talk to her. Similarly, Stella also talks to Samuel. A few days passed like this. One day, when Stella wakes up in the morning, she sees that Samuel was not there, where he was sleeping. Stella looks for him all over the house. After searching for a while, she sees Samuel. He's standing in the kitchen. When Stella goes to him, she was realizing that she had known Samuel for a long time. In fact, now they were talking to each other very well. It seemed that they know a lot about each other. Next we see the woman, from whom Samuel brought the goldfish. That woman was also awake from sleep. She now had 2 fish, not just one, which was undoubtedly Samuel's work. She had 2 fish in her hand. It is said that, if a person wants something with all his heart, he will definitely get it, as Samuel found Stella. Whatever existed on the island, but it was a wonderful moment for both of them. And with this, the story of this film also ends here. So friends, how did you like today's story? If you like this story, then don't forget to like and comment on the video. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, then definitely subscribe. Because this is not our last video, very soon we will appear before you with more beautiful stories. Everyone stay healthy, stay well. Goodbye like today. Thank you so much.